Hello, thank you for clicking on this video. Today we are using text-to-speech to explain the full backstory behind the first Milgram novel. Sorry if this voice gets annoying after a while. I didn't know if it would be a good idea, but I just committed. I will be referring to the characters as their milgram aliases, although their real name will be mentioned at some point. I will link the thread I got the summary of the novel from in the description. Let's get into the story now. There is a girl named S, real name Kogame Sumi, who transferred schools. At her old school, she became best friends with an honestly mentally unstable girl, Nervous, real name Naki Kawai. When she transferred, Nervous desperately wanted to keep contact with S and would send her messages a lot, although she didn't respond to any of them. Fast forward, she is now in her new school, and she is now best friends with a girl named Close. Real name, Shiranami Aiba. This girl has a crush on someone, obviously will come in handy later. At some point in the year, S gets confessed to by a mystery boy, but she doesn't know who he is. Going back to the present, one day she sees the blackboard in her class, and it is basically just fan mail of her. It is all about her and how great she is, basically, but to the point where it is seen as horrifying and even stalkerish. The messages that were on the board ranged from S is very beautiful to this feeling is not love, it's close to worship, and if S is a god, I'm an angel that supports. This made everybody feel sympathy for her, and it made her the center of attention, something she wasn't used to. The mystery person went by the alias of Seraphim, which is basically the highest-ranked angel, and if it wasn't made clear, the whole blackboard was made by this person. The Seraphim send messages through the class group chat about S, and by this point it is almost clear that the person is a stalker, or at least borderline of being a stalker. They talk about thinks that would usually go unnoticed on anybody, from S's cute laughter to her cool expressions. Close decides to help her best friend and starts researching about the Seraphim's identity. At some point, the Seraphim messages Close and tells her to meet them alone. Close decides to meet them for the sake of her friend. And it is revealed that the Seraphim is her crush, Two-Side, real name Unabara Shin. He is obsessed over S, and this is a result of his favorite idol dying. Two-Side's favorite idol was named Ai, and when she died, he came to the conclusion that she died because he didn't support her enough. So, he used this logic on S and decided that he should support S to the best of his ability, resulting in his stalker-ish behavior. Two-Side knew that Close had a crush, him, so he proposed the idea of him doing whatever Close wants in exchange for cooperation to support S. This put Close in a tough spot. Either betray her best friend in the name of love, or reject her crush's offer for her best friend. She decided to listen to Love, though, and became Two-Side's accomplice. They do kiss, however. Two-Side is the type of person who could kiss without any emotions, revealing how manipulative Two-Side really is. With this new alliance, Close makes another account as an angel, and proceeds to send messages into the class group chat like Two-Side, trying to ignore the guilt of betraying her best friend. Two-Side's support actually started to backfire, though. Just a reminder, it never actually worked. It just put a spotlight on S and made everybody feel sympathy for her. So, if his plan was to make S the center of attention, then I guess it worked. But nobody started to really find her remarkable like Two-Side wanted people to think. One day, a student gets a bad mark on her exam and goes to complain to S, saying that her angels distracted her. This makes S irritated, as she doesn't like how people don't see how it isn't enjoyable for her either. She replies, "Is it really my fault?" before adding, "The angels are bothering everyone, but that doesn't matter if your marks are already bad, right?" This gets taken the wrong way by the classmate who shouts, "Are you saying I'm an idiot?" S replies with, "That's right, aren't you dumb?" The class of 30 students all fell silent at this remark. This makes S realize that the two of them had argued, and it makes the classmate cry. This one conversation turned the whole support idea around, and now everybody was using S as just someone to complain to, and they were all starting to blame their problems on S. Some students even went as far as to tell S to die. This makes Twoside frustrated and upset because he really didn't mean for this to happen. He only wanted to support his favorite, but now because of his actions, she is now getting bullied and ostracized. Close wasn't able to escape the guilt either, and she becomes distant, as she has now lost her lover and her best friend. This incident makes S start to be harassed by her classmates, and as a result, she escapes to the rooftop, where Torch, real name Himori Tucci, often occupies. Torch is a tragic case, as he has witnessed much death in his life, from his parents passing in a car accident to his grandparents in a fire and a friend falling from an upper floor of a facility he resided at. At first, Torch seems distant, even as S tries to talk to him. At some point, S invited Torch to meet outside of school to hang out, though it was clear S is scared, like she wants to flee from something terrifying, which is most likely her classmates. Even though Torch is still distant at this point, it almost felt like instinct to take the offer, even surprising himself with his answer. When they meet up, S beams her smile, feeling free from the burden of the harassment that gets worse by the day. They hang out, and S gifts Torch a blue handkerchief, flustering Torch a bit and deepening their bond. One day, Torch had to buy lunch, so he would be late, meaning S would be there first. On his way up, he notices a blood trail on the stairs leading up to the roof. He rushes up and finds S with her head gushing with blood that seemed to never stop. S lets out a wisecrack despite this dire situation, saying, "Foo-foo, I gotta see Torch in such a hurry for the first time." It is revealed that on her way up to the roof, some boys started to harass her, grabbing her hair and such. She was resisting them, but when they let go of her hair, she fell down the stairs, busting her head on them. Still, she trudged up the stairs to the rooftop, as she knew Torch would be there. He was not. He hears their classmates outside the door and goes to open it, thinking they're concerned about S. However, she strongly protests, though Torch has already done the action. Those concerned were only the boys who directly led to her accident. All others were laughing and joking, continuing to harass S. "I have to take a picture. You can laugh," and other tasteless comments were the words that Torch heard about his dying friend. Torch rushes back to the rooftop and holds the door closed, even as students shake the door, fighting for it to open. The mental strain this conflict had was overpowering. If S doesn't get medical attention, she will die. But if he opens that door, her dignity would be lost. S manages to mutter, "Absolutely, don't open the door," finalizing Torch's decision. "If you ask me like that, I can't leave this place," he replies, though his tears are apparent through his message. Finally, after a long time, adults arrive, but it's far too late. S's last words were to Torch, in which she says, "Torch, the sky today is beautiful." After S's death, Close basically tattles on Twoside in the school group chat to save herself. She also conveys the message to someone who was friends with S previously, Nervous. Nervous wanted to know the whole situation, which is when Close sent all of Twoside's info. After this, Close attempts to take her life, though it fails, and she is left in a coma. Her older brother, Gentle, real name Shiranami Ryoichiro, was devastated, not accepting her condition. After a while, though, he slowly loses hope and decides to end Close's misery himself, as it is what she wanted. He buys a knife, and just as he is about to slash her throat, he stops and cries, admitting how Close's attempt had made him crazy. When he leaves the hospital, he kills someone with that same knife, who, by coincidence, turned out to be a serial killer. He rushes back to Close's hospital room, realizing that he wasn't willing to get caught, turning him into a serial killer too. As for Nervous, it is revealed that her and Twoside had met before, and she was actually developing a similar relationship with him like her and S's with their meetups at a park. However, when it was revealed he was indirectly the cause of S's death, that relationship crumbled to pieces, and all that filled her was hatred. Nervous invited Twoside to the park they used to meet at before the incident, and although he knows there will most definitely be consequences, he wouldn't mind them as long as Nervous listened to his story. When the actual meet came, though, Nervous didn't waste any time before slashing Two Sides' throat with a utility knife. Nervous doesn't stop stabbing, and Two Sides' life fades away. Nervous starts to wish she never met S. After all of this is revealed, we, the audience, are sucked back into milgram. It reveals S's view on all of situations. S believes all of the prisoners became murderers because of her. S knew that Nervous was waiting for a message, but chose to ignore her and not do anything. When Two Side confessed, she did recognize him, but lied. She knew he was the Seraphim, but was too scared to do anything. S knew from the beginning that Close had betrayed her, but was too scared to do anything. Jaka tells S what Kogame Sumi really thought of it all. She never really liked Nervous and was never concerned for her, seeing her as a ticking bomb. She hated how easily Close betrayed her and how easily she was swayed by love. She acted the way she did with her classmates, the argument, acting a way to be disliked, to make Two Side feel guilty for his actions. She became friends with Torch on the roof so that he could protect her with anything that happens. These thoughts aren't actually confirmed to be what Kogami Sumi definitively thinks, as S denies it, but Jaka then asks the viewer to decide S's verdict.
そうやってみんな大人に